everybody. This is Amy at City's Edge Quilt Shop and Sewing Center in Warsaw, Missouri. And today we're going to talk about the February pre-cut block of the month. So if you joined us for the previous block, which was in January, we gave you a little bit more detail on what the pre-cut block of the program is, gave you a few tips and tricks for that, and that those will kind of carry you through the 12 months. So you might want to go back to the January block and check those out if you have not done so yet. Some of our blocks this year are a little bit more intricate, like this block that I'm getting ready to show you. And we have some new quilters out there that have asked me to go through and kind of show how to put the blocks together. Maybe as we're putting them together, which way should you press them, those types of things. So we're going to do that today for the February block. So behind me here on the wall are our 5 colorways that we have for the block. And I think today is a good time to talk about value and color value because I'm going to show you something that you could do with this block if you wanted to. So we have our Prairie version and our other versions, which is red, white, and blue, dragonfly, aboriginal, blue skies, and sunshine and blue skies, and prairie. So last month I shared with you that we have 2 basic block settings, and January block had an on-point center, and the February block, as you can see, has a big 6-inch square center. So all your blocks are going to have one or the other of those 2, and that's what's going to pull your consistency through the quilt. But I want to go ahead and share with you some of the things that we're going to help you with this block right here. So I think what we'll do is we will go and show you, this is what you get. You get your pattern for the block. This particular one, we did do a colorway for the Prairie block. We don't do this for every single one of them. I do have one for the dark one also. So I'm going to show you how can you tell if you just got the color, because a lot of times we do these in grayscale, so you can just look at the values. It doesn't matter what the fabrics are. You're just looking at the values. And as you look at these 2, you can see the values that are standing out. So you have these dark blue triangles. You have either a light or dark center. We have the red on the outside, okay? And then the instructions go in the same order as the block is built on each of them. So we're going to go ahead and look at one of these. So you got this one if you did the aboriginal. So you would have the dark center. Then you would have your light triangles, right? Okay, oops, that way. And then you would have your reds out here, which will be like that. Okay, oops, let me get it right. There we go. And I have it upside down. There we go. It's because I'm missing a piece and I keep forgetting that this is way out here on the side. And then you have your medium value, which is going to be right here. Let me see. I think I'm doing this wrong. This one goes this way. There we go. That looks a little better. I like to put these together so that I can kind of see how they are laid out for each one. Let's see. Medium value. Oh, no, red value. Red value. Helps to look at the picture. Then I have my mediums. and then my medium, and my light. So you can see that I'm building it out based on color value. Here's my darkest, here's my reds, here's my medium, here's my light. Okay, so you can kind of see how it's going to be laid out. Now, when I first get my kit here, I would count every piece. And this is a tip I'll give you in block 1, or that I gave you in block 1, that tells you to count the pieces. And I think going forward, starting with March, I'm going to put how many pieces you should have in this kit. That way you have easy counting. But basically, you have one center. You have 4 dark. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And then you have 4 light. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the red. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the medium value. So I would just count those out. Okay. So what you'll get going forward is that you need 25 pieces. That way, when you get your kit, you just count 25. And if you have 25, good. If not, then got to figure out which piece you're missing. Give us a call right away so we can make sure that you get your fabrics. All right. So I was just showing you this one because it's not the red, white, and blue one, and how I would put them together. But let's talk about the Prairie one. Okay, we'll look at that one for our assembly today. This one is a little bit different because we put the dark value in the center. So let's open up our kit. And the first thing we're going to do is pull out our pattern, right? And I have it right here for you. We're going to have 8 of the red, and we're going to have 8 of the medium. And you might have to separate them a little bit because I try to flatten them as much as I can in the mail, especially for those of you that have multiples. I have 4 lights and 4 darks. So there's all of my pieces. Now, the first thing it's telling you is that you are going to make 4 of each one of these. So I have my light and my polka dot. I have my dark and my medium. And I have my medium and my polka dot. So the first thing I'm going to do is make 4 of each of these. And the thing about the AccuQuilt cutter, which was so nice in these pre-cut block of the months, is that as you are piecing them, they should fit together just like a glove. You should not really see a whole lot around the edges of either one of them. Okay. I will also, as I mentioned in block 1, you need a really good 1/4 inch on these pieces when you're sewing them. These pieces truly want a good 1/4 inch. So if you are used to doing a scant and you're used to trimming down, then this is kind of what's going to happen to you. If you look at this block, you'll see it goes all the way point to point. Okay, that's how you want it to look. And then when you measure it, I'm going to measure it on my board here. It is going to be 3.5 inches unfinished. So that is a good block. What's not a good block, I purposely made this a scant, and I don't know if you can see this. Let me put it on the back of this paper. See how it's split there? Look at the difference between the two of these. This has a big split in it. So if you start to see little splits there, that means you are not getting a good 1/4 inch all the way across there. Okay. So what we're going to do, we sewed our 4 pieces together. I'm going to put my center out here. And I have my 4 pieces that look like these, right? I have 4 of each of these. So then it says to sew 2 together. So I took 2 blocks, this one and this one, and sewed them together using my good 1/4 inch. And it says to make 4 of those. So I have 4 of those. Okay, make 4 of these. Then it says to take 2 of these and add on a light corner. There you go. Right there. Okay, so I added the light piece to each side, looking at the diagram to make sure I get them in the right direction. So now I have 2 of these and I have 4 of these. So my next step is to do my row 2, which is right here. So I'm going to take this and sew these 2 pieces together. Okay. And then once I do that, I take these pieces. Oops, there it is. Had them on top of each other. And sew the top and bottom. All right, so now we have sewn our side pieces on for row 2. We have sewn on our end pieces for row 1 and 3. I also pressed 1 and 3 to the outside. Okay, so you can see my seam is going to the outside on each side. On row 2, I have my seams going in towards the center circle. So when you look at this, you'll see this seam's going this way and this seam's going this way. So when I go to put my block together, I want to marry these 2 seams, the seam that's going down the center here and the seam that's going there. And because they're going in opposite directions, you can feel it when they lock in. And when they do, that's a good time to put a little pin there to hold it in place. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. Oops. To hold those seams together. Okay, and then we can, and you'll know if one is not scant versus, or that you used a good 1/4 inch, because they should meet up really well, because these pieces are meant to just kind of go together. And if you are way off 1/4 inch, it's because these ones have more pieces, and so you have more opportunity to not have that perfect 1/4 inch, or maybe you got a little fold in your pressing. Okay, so I'm now going to go to the sewing machine and sew that down. Okay, so now I have sewn on my top one, and you can see it came out pretty good there. And now it's time to do this and sew on my back one. But one thing I want to show you is how I pressed it. Remember, I pressed the seams in and these seams out so I could marry those seams. And now I'm going to press inward. And a little bit of rule of thumb about triangles is they really want to lay flat. They don't like it when you take all of these intersections and try to get them to go over. If you do that, you'll feel that big bump there. So versus it coming in and being flat. Okay, so I would finish off my block and it would look like this. So one thing I wanted to show you guys is talking about value is how I could have changed this block up because we are talking about light and dark values. What I could have done And you'll see it really changes the look of the block. Because I have 4 of these, I could have put these right here and put the light ones right here. We didn't think the light ones there stood out enough from this medium value, so we switched it up a little bit. So you can see how that would change up the block a little bit. So if you have it here, so this right here versus this right here. And you can see these two, it just didn't pop. So on this one, we wanted to switch it so it had more of a popping value. Okay. On the Aboriginal, it would have changed the block, even though the values are very different. It does change the look of the block. And I say, you know, your choice. Your choice. So I put the black ones there, and then I put the light ones out here. And it just makes your star maybe pop out a little bit more. Your friendship star changes the look completely. So I'm going to leave it. It's easier to take them off than put them on to give you that second look. But so that's one view, or this. Okay. So again, we just wanted the values. Same with these two right here, because there's 8 and 8. If you liked it better like this, there's nothing that says you can't do that. Maybe you like this better. Because there's the same number, you can be unique in your own style. Okay. So you can see the difference there between this side and this side. No right or wrong there. Designer's choice, and you are the designer. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this session of February pre-cut block of the month. And I will see you next month for block number 3. Talk to you then. Thanks for joining me.